check. We got audio. My audio's coming in. Pretty sure all yours are. And we're live. Excellent. Well, welcome to another episode of the Legacy of Mythal campaign. So, last week, the battle with Chuff, the Emerald Assassin, and his few remaining minions concluded with the explosion of the dragon's head underwater. Nerevain the Green was captured, along with two of the elves who had been serving him, the dragon, and the dragon's treasure trove, along with Nerevain's personal journal and a letter from two dead young cultists to their father in Baldur's Gate that were found and removed from the lair. Then the group teleported back to Waterdeep, where they were met by a turtle dressed in the purple robes of the cult. He introduced himself as Junlok the Black and said that he was the new Worm Speaker after his friend Resmir had been killed by the heroes. He was looking for revenge and to carry out the Great Queen's request to destroy the heroes, but saw that they were still injured from the recent battle and offered to postpone, which the heroes agreed to. And so he disappeared as two red dragon spawn dropped from nearby rooftops to attack them. It was a very short, quick battle, and then they made their way to Obrinter Villa to turn in their prisoners and report to Ramalia Haventree. In making their report, they learned that the forces of at the Well of Dragons continued to grow, research on the Drakhorn Sounds was making progress, and the council had decided that the heroes were the only group who could meet with the Draconic Council of Metallic Dragons and negotiate for their help in fighting the cult. The silver-haired woman, Elia, was there again, and she said she would meet with them in the morning. And when she left, Ramalia told the heroes that Elia was actually an ancient silver dragon and member of the council, and metallic dragons' help in assaulting the well would be tremendously valuable. Actually having dragons to help fight the dragons that are gathering there. She warned that they would likely be asking for many concessions that some of the members of the Alliance would not be happy with, in particular any requirements for apologies for past transgressions or unreasonable amounts of treasure. With that information, the heroes left to make their rounds, provide additional reports, and meet back at the Safe Haven Inn for another evening of good food, drink, and much needed rest. And that is where we pick back up, and I believe we're at the point, and just to say it out loud, Hef would have gone to the Upper Downs just to check on the status of the Griffins.
So he went to the Upside Down. Great.
Yes, to the Upside Down. And oh wait, oh my goodness, you guys can hear me, right? And I'm being picked up, but you know it is
Yes.
Yes, it must be a different mic, is my guess.
It's crazy. I don't even have my regular mic in front of me. How is that there? That's better though. It was picking up because it's a really good mic and it happened to be, but that should be better. My apologies, everyone. You know what is this stream if we don't have technical issues at least every other session? People would not know where they were. Okay. So Hef went to check on the Griffins, and we already took care of Alamir going and talking with Nair. And Luna, you were stopping off to see and talk to Melanor Fellbranch.
Yes.
So, very good. All right. So, just bring that up. There we go. So, Melanor Fellbranch. So, you make it there to meet with Melanor. And he is outside tending his gardens. And he sees you come through the gate and he nods. Luna!
I nod back.
Welcome back.
How are we doing today? Nice gardens, as usual.
Of course. You must take care of nature. Nature
Yes.
shall take care of you. So
I
what
asked if
news have you from your last excursion?
I tell him about everything that happened. The dragon, we killed the green dragon, and bringing back the sun.
And as
And
you're
then I
talking, you notice his eyes are. He's been busy pruning and stuff. You know, he had turned to say hello and busy pruning, and he slowly stops pruning and is just kind of staring off into space, and then slowly turns and looks at you. And then he comes over and he puts a hand out, but doesn't quite touch your shoulder, and the hand travels down across the corner of your torso and arm, and he says, Is that Oakhart?
think it is. I'm not sure. It was calling out to me. Before I realized it, I had put it on, and I am now wearing it.
I had felt the power of the Oak Father approaching. Even before you arrived, I thought it was just a energy visit to the gardens, but it must have actually been you. Are you a follower of Sylvanus?
I was waiting to see which way I was drawn to. Since I'm drawn this way, I'm thinking that's the way I may need to follow. I came to
Um,
ask your advice for this also.
my advice, well, on a practical level, my advice is if you wish to keep wearing the armor, you haven't much choice. Historically, the armor has been around for millennia, and it has found its way into the position of druids who were his avid devotees. And there are examples, historical examples, of the armor refusing to work for druids who strayed from the Oak Father's teachings. Continued use of it will likely require some form of devotion.
I guess that's where I need to start learning more than I already know about this devotion,
Well, then, on
this
a
specific.
personal note, I can tell you that Sylvanus is the most closely aligned to the path you have walked most of your life.
That would make sense then why it called to me.
Sylvanus believes in maintaining the balance between the forces of nature and civilization. He recognizes the intrinsic value of every creature and plant in the tapestry of life. In nature, good and evil are two necessary sides of the same coin, and both must be protected so that the natural order is maintained.
So maybe I have been following and not known it until now.
Yes, I believe we had a talk related to this a couple of months back when all of this began, and there was some distaste for the actions that were taken in the cult encampment in the caverns. The killing of the 3 young black dragons.
I
The
remember that.
hatchlings. The teachings of Sylvanus tell us that such creatures, regardless of their moral bent, deserve to live no less than you and I.
Agreed.
Yeah. And he'll go on and just kind of tell you of different things about Sylvanus. Basically, it is a pure uh, um, a pure approach and devotion and to nature itself. So, and anything that you do to protect the natural world and also to help those humanoids and otherwise who find themselves within the wilds unprepared or for the dangers. Um, Often, the followers of Sylvanus will help protect them from the wilds themselves. So it's a lot of it is the focus on nature, but also this understanding that civilization is separate, often at odds, but that there needs to be a balance. They need to be kind of kept separate, and where they cross over, a balance, the balance between the two sides and good and evil um, need to be kept.
It's like the light and dark. You have to have both.
Yep. And also the cycles of life and death, right? That there is a natural cycle of birth, life, and death for everything, and there is no good or bad to any of that. So the only evil to Sylvanus's eyes, which is pretty common for a lot of druidic faith, is undead. Undead are abominations to the natural order.
Yes.
Where would demons and devils fit in that?
They're not part of the material plane, but and outside of the elemental planes, so they can overly disrupt the natural world, and they're not necessarily a core part of it.
How would he feel about the elemental worlds and elementals?
They're akin to the natural world because the elements make up the natural world. They're just intense concentrations of each of the individual elements. So
Okay.
they are part of they are part of the natural world in the sense that they exist in it and are integral parts of it. The elemental planes themselves are separate and they don't really. Let's give an example. So the elemental plane of fire. So fire is obviously part of the natural world, but if a fire elemental prince came walking out, was released or summoned and released, came walking out of a volcano, it would be destroying forests and everything around it, and it would need to be stopped because it was disrupting the balance.
Yes.
But
But if I wound up having to transform into a fire element to protect others, that would not be so much frowned upon, though.
right, as long as you're not walking around, destroying nature, it's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I was double checking on.
All right. And
I'm sure he would educate me about what he knows about the armor, and I'll probably follow up with him for mentoring sessions later on off out of game too.
I mean, he would just tell you stories that he knew, but he doesn't know a lot, like all the specifics of what the armor could do. But just from
Okay.
attuning to it, you would
I
know
know.
what the armor can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when we got through that, I would mention to him where we're being sent next. The ancient dragons to try to get them to ally with us and ask what he could tell us about them, or if there's anyone else I should be talking to and help preparing to go talk to these ancient dragon council.
Dragons are interesting creatures. They are highly magical, but they are part of the natural world. Yet because of the great power and the long lifespan, even longer than that of most elves, they have a different outlook on life. They look at all other creatures, especially us, as lesser beings. Some look to protect us. Some find us foolish. Some think us not worthy of the thought and the time to consider. It really depends on who these creatures are, which dragons you are going to meet with. Do you happen to know their names?
I would mention off the name of the one that we had met.
And you were told her real name, her dragon name.
Yes.
Elia's dragon name is Otarilia Carnos. And yes, it is as weird as it sounds. In fact, I will. Where is this?
I don't even know how to spell that one.
I will put it in here for you just real quick. That. So you mentioned her, and I'm not. What does he even possibly know? Yeah. One, I am at least familiar. I've heard the name before, but I do not know anything specific about her. Just that she has been around a good while. A powerful silver dragon. So you say that she was in the city in human form?
Yes. I tell him where I met her, and that I think we'll be traveling with her to meet the Dragon Council.
Makes sense that, I guess, if she had to come to form an alliance, there, I don't know if you are aware of this, but there is a powerful ward, a Mythal, in fact, over Waterdeep, that protects it from intrusion by dragons. Without special magical enchantments given out by the Black Staff, dragons cannot enter the city.
Interesting. Is this something I can share with my friends, or
Oh yes,
more close hold?
It's not common knowledge, but not unknown either. There are plenty in the know. That is something that it would be good for you all to know, especially if you're looking for refuge from any dragons that are after you. The city is a safe haven.
I'll speak of it to my friends when appropriate. And speaking of wards, I mentioned to him about the tortoise we ran into when we teleported back, and he said he'd be meeting us, I think on Thursday, was it? He said because we were pretty well spent, he wanted to give us a fair fight, and he would come back and meet us. Just wondering how he got past the protective wards and everything else.
Well, turtles are not. The turtles can enter the city, and there are no wards specific to enter the city of the dead. Any citizen can
can go there.
Okay.
So, and Junlok is a name that I am familiar with. I know of this creature's birth, at least. There are stories that are told. It is considered an aberration of the natural world. Not necessarily. I mean, it is not an aberration in the sense that we would look to remove him from the world, but simply that it is unnatural circumstances that are highly uncommon. There was magic, uncontrolled magic, that affected him in the womb.
Uh-huh.
So there were those who followed his life for a while when he was growing up in the wilds.
Do we know if he has any immunities to any specific magics, or if he is, say, maybe weak to certain magics, in case we are forced to battle him at some point?
Not that I know of. His arms and the second brain.
Second brain, wow.
Oh, yes, if you did not know, he has a second brain that is fully functional. There is I don't know if that would make him, that if he has any particular vulnerabilities or resistances to types of magic, but having a second brain, as he was growing up, the stories I heard were that his mental capacity was extremely strong, and once he got used to his condition, he was able to work through things and reason through problems, became extremely adept at learning new things and gaining advantages over others.
Interesting. Do we know his second brain, if the two brains are in unison, or if they fight with themselves, or multiple personalities type?
No, not sure at all, but given his success in living through a very dangerous time in a very wild, untamed part of the world, can't imagine that he had that his brains were in conflict while he was going through that.
If he has multiple arms and two brains, does he have two heads, or where would the second brain be located?
I don't know for certain. It is probably somewhere within the carapace. I mean, there is room in the central body, in the rib cage, that you could, in theory, have another brain secreted somewhere. I mean, and he is a turtle. He has the large shell. There are certainly pockets, maybe on his back, who I do not know. There's definitely would be room there within his torso.
That I'll have to. Should be interesting. Hopefully we'll never meet him. So if we do, I'll do what needs to be to protect ours.
Of course.
Hopefully him too, but I do ask if he has any large trees that I could magically connect to with his permission.
Mm. Yes. And in fact, in the middle of the courtyard, there is one tree. There's room for one large tree. It's an oak tree. That's been growing there. It's pretty big. It's probably 350 years old. So yes, that would work.
Okay. And I explained to him if it's okay with him. If the need ever arises, I keep a safety backup of transport via plant, and I would like to bond with that. So that would be the place we would come back to if all other options failed.
Of course, there are those of sufficient power for that magic who have used it in the past. That is not a problem.
Just always want to ask out of respect to your garden.
I appreciate that.
Is there any other questions I should be asking that I'm not thinking of at this point? And is there anything you need me to be looking out for you as we prepare to go out next?
No, I believe you are. And he taps your shoulder with the armor and says, I believe you are as prepared as you could be at this point.
Very nice. Thank you for your guidance as always.
Of course. And may the Oak Father protect you on your journeys and provide you the wisdom you need.
Just like trees, we always grow in wisdom, hopefully.
Yes. All right. And I assume you walk from there, you cross the street?
Yes, after I connected with the tree, I'd have to touch it.
Yep. I don't...
And,
Do you have to... For...
let me do...
If it's
like this.
the... Yeah, it's one you have... You only have to see it.
Seen or
That's what I
know.
thought. Yep.
Yep. Just in case I would,
Sure. Yeah, why not? Absolutely. Help connect to it even more.
I would go back and relay to my friends all that I had learned when they're together, and then I'd also go shopping, see if anybody else wanted to go shopping with me. Or the Magic Emporium.
All right. So everybody's meeting back at the Safe Haven Inn. Anybody else want to go shopping with Luna?
I would join him if nobody else will, for sure.
I would just go buy a bunch of ruby dust.
Okay.
Yep, I'm gonna go.
Yep. So for the purposes of this, we're just going to say it's at cost. So anything that you're looking for, as long as it's rare, uncommon, or rare, or common, they would have it available, and you can just pay cost for it. And if you need to know what the cost is, I can tell you.
Okay, I'll need to
Sure,
know
what's the cost?
Well, for the ruby dust, you're just going to pay whatever value in it you need.
No. I mean, in general, just what's the cost?
Oh, what's the cost? Well, let me pull this up real quick. So for magic items, magic tiers costs. Here we go. So here. And we're not gonna roll percentages or anything like that. So here are costs. So, yep. So the top, that's general magic items. Then the rest is consumables, potions and scrolls.
I'm looking for manacles and dimensional shackles. Manacles are just common. I'll see I haven't looked to see if I could find costs on them. The one thing I could not
Yeah,
find was
manacles you
the.
would. I mean, you would find at just a general store. That's fine.
Okay. The razor of commanding fire elements. Yes, I did a little research.
Is that rare?
I think it is, yes.
Right?
I didn't know if you need to roll to see if they had them or not.
No, we're not. We're not doing that. That's what I'm saying. Just buy what. As long as
Okay.
it's rare or less, just buy it.
Okay. So rare is
'Cause
4,000 gold.
I
Okay.
don't want no reason to waste that much time. And this campaign is not about money and stuff. Elamir, would
Yep.
you want to mute yourself for while you eat?
Sorry about that. My apologies.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay, back.
See, now it felt too quiet after you stopped.
I know. It was like,
Yeah.
really? I was the life of the party. I was the whole party.
I could not hear my tinnitus there for a moment.
Well, good. I'm glad I could help you out.
All right. Anyone else buying anything?
I don't know if I misheard or didn't hear. How much is rare?
So it's in the. I put it in the.
Oh,
right
okay,
here. So
read.
rare is 4,000 gold. And if you're buying like a weapon or something, there's like a plus, materials and stuff if it's something
Gotcha.
unique. But basically, it would be the cost of the item plus materials. But I wouldn't even worry about that. I would just 4,000 is fine unless you're doing something that would be that's very expensive to make.
And if anybody doesn't have enough money, I can always kick into.
Well, I need 40,000.
Gold?
Yeah, Elamir wants something very rare.
What gives you that idea? Um, I think I'm just gonna blow $4,000.
On what?
Make sure I have $4,000. I do have
You
$4,000.
do.
Okay.
Everyone should have $4,000.
Just for the heck of it, I'd like a necklace of fireballs.
Sure, go for it. Because that's what you need is more fireballs.
More fire. It's like cowbell. You need more cowbell. No, I'm thinking of being able to throw this thing at like level 9. 3 plus 6.
Awesome. Very good.
Level
Jenkins.
9 fireball.
No problem. If you have 30,000, you want to spend it all on ruby dust, go for it. What's the ruby dust for, by the way?
He eats it.
It's just a small component for the stupid spells.
Wait, is that that's not the hypnotic?
No. It's Force Cage.
Oh, force cage. Right. Yep, absolutely. Awesome spell. All right.
Is the purchase of is it D6 plus 3 or is it max?
For the number of charges you get it at?
Yes.
They're max because they've had them for a while, so they're charged.
Okay. I'm gonna add that. That's
Yes,
fine.
they sell their items charged.
Okay, they're charged. Oh yeah. Let me get rid of some money here. That's that. There's degrees 400 of that. That's gone. Remove. Boop. All right, so I can get one more. Of
So you're in there shopping.
And don't you dare say we get pickpocketed, because I'm using my ATM card.
If you use your Visa, you have that fraud protection on it.
That is true.
And there is yeah, you do get pickpocketed. Look at that. And there is You feel like you're being watched, and you catch something with your passive perception out of the corner of your eye, Alamir and Luna, and you look over and you see a kind of crop, black-haired, swarthy-skinned human with green eyes, dressed. Actually, let me show you what he looks like. And he goes, gentlemen. Oh, I love it when famous adventurers come into my store. I am Axel Goodfellow. Wonderful to see you here. And that is Axel. So, the heroes of Hill's Edge shopping at Axel's. I am so blessed. I hope you are finding everything you need. Yes?
You have
Yes,
very
of
nice
course.
stuff.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. We try so hard. We want to please everyone. Make magic available throughout the realms as his mistress want.
How can you bring such things, wonders, to the masses in such plentifulness?
That is our secret. We have worked very hard for very long in order to acquire the right quantities of items in order to open our shops. We have many people working constantly to make sure that you will always have what you need. No problem, Elamir. So, well, if there's anything special you that you ever want, I will see what I can do. Just let my people know.
Will do. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
Oh my god. I wonder.
And he does a very elaborate flourish, bow, and then he takes a couple of steps off to the left, to his left, and he's like, Prince Zavadri, so good to see you. And he goes over to another customer dressed in Kalashite silks.
Does he take credit?
There's a sign that says no credit, no barter, no haggling.
nothing.
5-figure discounts I hear work really well though.
So we're
Only on Tuesdays.
so
Yeah,
Jinkin,
they
I was
complain. Cast fireball.
yeah. But Jinkin, you're not there, right? Or were you? You
No,
were going
no,
somewhere
no,
else
no.
shopping. Okay,
No,
I'm
no.
just making sure. All right.
I'm still.
golds?
That's what I need right there.
How many golds and platinum? 1 platinum. And gold, 1 platinum, okay.
10 gold. 1 platinum is 10 gold.
Yep.
I'm adding an immovable rod. 400. Take that out now. Remove. Okay.
That's right. I need to buy another one of those. I lost mine.
Yep. Never picked it up.
No, you picked it up.
But just now. Just
No,
now.
No. But the last time you used it, you picked it up.
Okay.
The
So
last
now
time I used it, you picked it up.
So I give it back to you.
No, it's fine.
No. It's back to you. Let's see. What is this?
All right. So while you guys are doing that, so um, we'll just kind of so you do your shopping, but let's go ahead and go move us up to dinner unless there's something else that specific anybody wants to do
Gotcha.
before dinner.
I'm good with that.
Can I get adamantine robes?
You can, but they will they will you will not be able to do anything because you're not because it would be heavy armor.
But it'd be robes, so it'd be light armor.
Would
Or
he
no
not
armor.
really do anything?
It's called scale
Because-
mail.
You don't actually really. What don't you get for not being proficient in the armor?
Actually, in 5e, it's is it half movement? I think it's half movement. And
But you can wear it.
So you could wear it. So this is good. So before, in relation to a conversation that started before the stream, Alamir and Jinkin, make history checks for me, please, on what you know about Otari Liakarnos. Wow, 23 is good. All right. So Alamir, with a 23. So she is an ancient silver dragon. It's been around for a long time. You figure you have to be alive for at least 500 years to become an ancient, and she's been around probably 350, 400 years beyond that, at least, to your what you recall. She is known to have spent a good amount of time among humanoids. She shows up historically in various places and cities and in stories. Not necessarily a protector and helping humans, but willing to trade, to make deals, and such. There is one thing that you do know, though. There is one thing in her history that is a black mark against humanoids for her. Around 350 or so years ago, there was a dragon moot that the dwarves of the northern holds held. Dwarves will often hold dragon moots if there's a dragon in the area that they want to that is causing problems, right, ravaging the area, or that they just get together to kill a dragon to obtain their treasure hoard. Sometimes a dragon moot will attack metallic dragons instead of chromatic. And there was a dragon moot that killed her niece.
Well, that was stupid.
Yes. So, yes. Her niece, Faranelkis, was her niece's name. And yeah, so the dwarves killed her niece, and she and one of the dwarven kings, or not a king, but some powerful merchant family or the like, still has a suit of armor made from her niece's scales.
Well, ow.
And in answer to Jinkin was asking, and a question to me, Alamir, you would know that she is a devout follower of Bahamut.
Oh, well, Zem should know this one.
Nope.
Apparently
Asked
not.
him first.
Oh, okay. Zem is sleeping. Okay. Well, I will, of course, let everybody in on all this information, especially Zem, saying, did you know the connection between this dragon and Bahamut?
I did not, other than, I assumed Bahamut was involved, but I wasn't sure.
And it's so in what, and actually, Elamir, you with that role and the roles, and I believe you've done a previous role on dragons before that was pretty high. Metallic dragons in general revere and worship Bahamut. He is in general, that doesn't mean they all worship him, but in general he is the god of good dragons. So, which would include metallics as a
all
general.
the golds, the platinums, all them.
Right.
So why do humans do evil in their name? Never mind.
Not now. Not now, Jankin. Pull it back just a little bit. So in that case, when you say devout, like every Sunday and Wednesday,
strong believer in the tenets of Bahamut, and that Zemsta should be able to help you with.
Right. So where I'm going with this is, if we are trying to, as we say, negotiate or discuss with dragons, and we know this dragon's history, then we should. Are there any dwarves? No, there are no dwarves in our group. We're good. Maybe see if that is a peace offering, a connection, to see if we can somehow get that armor to return to her so she can have what's left of her niece. But now, Zem, as a Bahamut follower, I think you are. It's just a guess. What can we do to these dwarves without pissing off Bahamut? Is there anything that says we cannot retrieve something, negotiatingly wise?
I don't think there's any rules around that, other than we got to deal with the dwarves themselves, obviously.
And I know there are plenty of dwarven, not factions, but races of different dwarves and stuff like that, subclasses, sub-races and stuff. I'm trying to go back in our list of pictures of our council. Who was the dwarven council?
Bronamble. So Bronamble is representing the dwarves of the north.
But he's not. That's not the dwarves that I'm just trying to find the picture. That's not the dwarfs that took the skin.
Well, no, but that doesn't.
All right, he may know. I mean, he may know the history.
So, well, he may know the history. He may know them. I mean, and you don't know that it's not related to them. I mean,
it would be a start. Okay.
Right.
So we can connect that as a possible workaround.
So I will just.
That's gonna be a rough one, though.
Right. That falls in line with what Ramalia told you would be a difficult concession. Like that falls in line with an apology.
Doesn't mean it can't be done.
Right, that is correct.
Where? I'm just looking for the list of the.
So
Okay, there's Ramalia.
And I will.
Do we
and
have
I
him?
will just, as
Oh, they're there. I got him. Never mind. I
Yep.
see him.
And when you were saying niece, you're saying niece of
The dragon.
Tara Lakaran, whatever the name.
Yeah, the big long name.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
So
Thank
you're
you.
talking Conrad Braun Anvil
Yes.
of the Lord's Alliance.
Right. He is. So that is myth. He is the king of Mythal Hall.
Okay. Yep. I got him. I'm looking right at him. Oh, I got him. I got to look down, but I'm looking down.
Oh, and he's looking at you. What you be looking at?
What about what's Onthar from? Is he dwarf?
Is what?
Onthar from?
Antar?
Froom.
Yeah.
He's not. He's human.
Okay. I'm just looking at the pictures, and he could have been dwarf. I don't know. Maybe some
No, he's
father on his uncle's side.
He's
All right.
he was the head of the group in El Terrell.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of the order.
But he's Order of the Gauntlet. Because we don't have a Lord. I mean, yes, he's in the council. Yes, we've worked for the council. Yes, we've been to the council. Does anybody have a hookup with him in the council? That's besides Romalia.
With Braun Anvil?
Uh-huh.
No.
Because I have no.
No, you guys have
Connections at
no
all.
connections.
We have no one in
to
the
the
Lord's
dwarves.
Alliance. Correct. We have no one in the Lord's Alliance.
No. You guys cover you guys
We have Harper's and we have Gauntlet
and Emerald.
Yeah, Enclave.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to talk to Romalia to see if we can get to
And
Conrad.
Zemsto's secretly, with the Zentarum.
Yeah, that sounds like something that's going to be utilized.
There's nothing to see here. Move along.
He's got his girlfriend, on the side.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so that is one that is one very long shotty, because not only is that an apology, that is taking probably a
that's taking
religious artifact.
What is
That's
most likely now a dwarven family heirloom.
Yeah, but what are the odds he actually knows them? Because that's got to be a pretty famous heirloom. I mean, everybody talks about weird Uncle Bill or whoever. Okay, that's in the back pocket. All right, so Bahamut.
And Zem
You
did
said the
post the tenets.
okay. What is the other? Because you said there were 5 dragons in this.
There's 5 dragons, and you don't know any of the other names.
Nobody knows, even Dragon Boy over there, the druid.
Well, there is that there is no specific standing council for dragons. This would be something that they would have had to have put together special for this occasion.
Specifically for
Right.
So
And while there is a limited number of ancient dragons out there, the number is large enough that these 4 could be any 4 out of 40 plus dragons.
Or these 5.
But one of them, so the other 4.
Okay. What about the Tower of Luskin? What about and I know you said we're kind of retro doing this. By asking that, what do they know about we'll call it the Order of the Dragons, because it sounds like a really cool name. What do they know about these dragons?
So if you had asked Nair
I'm asking.
And the people who were there from the Tower of Luskin, they don't know anything about them. Like, it would, again, they only know of, they know what conversations have been going on in the council meetings. They know that Elia came to speak on behalf of this draconic council, but you know what? I tell you what, roll here.
Yeah, I mean,
Roll me a d20 for Nair, and I'm gonna roll a luck roll.
just d20.
Yep, d20.
Okay, d20. There you go. 6, so I suck.
Yeah. So yeah, Nair. I mean, maybe there were some names mentioned, but she has not paid. They've been busy studying, and they have not heard any other names.
Okay. One last outreach for me. Now I'm looking at everybody else if they could have an outreach. What about the school? There has to be some. I mean, come on, dragons
Are you
are
talking
extremely
Candlekeep?
magical. Yes.
So again,
They're
Candlekeep has knowledge of things of the past and
all magical.
not even necessarily magical, but there's history too. But again, if this thing was only just created, they might be able to create a list of like possibilities, but that possibilities is not going to be, oh, here's the 4.
So, but we were told the 4's names. We just don't know them, correct?
No, you weren't told
We
the
just
other.
were told there's 4 others.
Yeah, that there's going to be 5. It's a council of 5 dragons, and you know that that Otara Karnos is one of them.
Okay.
So, who is the head priest of the Bahamut Temple in Waterdeep?
Bahamut doesn't have temples like that in most places. The one in El Terrell is extremely unusual.
Okay. Okay, so there is not a dedicated one here in Waterdeep.
Nope.
No, but I can get you there if you need to go there.
Well, and I guess that's part of the out of game question. Is this a side quest that makes sense, or move along and don't do that?
That's why it's retro. Or not retro. It's we put it on speed 6 instead of speed 1.
Yep.
So
Tom?
for the purposes of moving things along, I'll tell you that everything that you could find from doing all of this, you can find out just from talking to him too. But then the idea becomes, once you're in the meeting, you're not going to be able to easily have side conversations away from them about it.
Okay, so are we told that the 5 dragons are of all metallic?
You were not told anything like that, but I mean,
You know, I'm
it's a
just
metallic
asking, is there-
dragon. Yeah, they're all. It's metallic. It's the Metallic Dragon Council. So they are
If it is.
definitely
So
metallic
if-
dragons.
So if they're metallic dragons, I'm going to go under the assumption, I'll say it, I will assume
Yep.
that they follow Bahamut. With that, again, assumption. I'm using it as an assumption.
And another decent assumption is that one is gold. You know, there's
One
a
is
silver,
Platinum,
one's brass,
yeah,
one is bronze, and one is copper.
right. The top 5s.
Yes.
Um,
One from each
so-
type.
Do
so
we
with,
know?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No.
Do we know where the silver dragon who's walking around in human form is currently staying by chance?
Well, you all you know is
It's
that
their
she was
pocket.
meeting with the council in the palace, and that you've met her twice at Ramalia Haventree's villa.
Just wondering if we could go back and see if we could talk to her more to prepare for.
I mean, we
Because
could.
Ramalia told us all that she could, correct? Or do we know that or not?
Well, she gave you information, but you don't
We
know
didn't
if that's
pursue
all
it. she
knows.
So I like that. I like that. Why don't we go? At least that's getting us face to face, human face to us, with a dragon. That is word of mouth from directly a dragon. Now, I'm not saying that dragon knows all the other dragons, but for someone who's hiding in plain sight as a humanoid, wouldn't it be feasible that this isn't your run-of-a-mill juvenile dragon? This would have a dragon that has some background knowledge of stuff going on dragon world, because that dragon's getting stuff going on in human world or humanoid world. Again, Alamir input. Others, what do you think?
I'd say let's start off with Ramalia, and then if we can speak to the silver dragon
Ooh,
tonight.
we could also do that, Jenkins. I like that.
I mean, I don't know if that's a thing in this world, to be honest, but I know there's
I
gem
mean,
ones too.
Looks like muddied waters to me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, technically it is, but like, they're few and far between.
You know,
Okay, it sounds like it hurt. What?
well, we're dealing with metallic dragons, which in history have always been kind of evil, and we know that
They're more chaotic than anything, but yeah.
Yeah, and we know the chromatics are, typically speaking,
Nuts.
metallic ones are actually good guys. Sorry, the chromatic ones are actually the evil ones. Whatever. And the gem ones, whatever. You know what we need on our end? We need a Dracula.
What? Totally extreme the other way?
We need the full undead. You know, yeah.
Undead, I cannot have any part of that.
And somehow or another, it can bring upon and raise more dragons as they die to be on our side.
I like it.
so let's hit Ramalia and see what else she might know, or maybe she can connect us with something, and then let's move from there.
Okay, like it. One last thing though, we need to talk to two other people. One being Dragon Lady in human form, Silver Dragon Lady in human form, and Dwarf Guy. But how do we approach Dwarf Guy to say your people got to apologize?
Better yet, return the armor.
Yeah, that's an apology.
Or is there a way we can trade for the armor through other means?
You know that's not a bad idea too.
We got ruby dust.
What we got to find out what the niece was doing so badly that they had to kill her. I know, was she killing off the dwarves? We got to talk to Dwarf Guy and find out if he knows the history of what went on. So Ramalia, yeah, I have a ruler. I am in charge. Ramalia to start. Dwarf has to be second, and then Silver Dragon Lady third.
Okay. So after dinner, you're gonna go back and see Ramalia.
Man, she has like an open door policy. Seriously.
We're her favorites.
We are. All right. What do
And
we
if
got,
she
Tom?
has any trees in her area large enough, I'd connect to it too.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't take that large a tree to be
You
able.
should just bring a little potted plant.
You gotta remember,
Well,
the
no.
bigger the better for me.
Absolutely. During
And by the
dinner-
way, your stealth is like a 28 there, Steve.
We got Zim with us, though.
Yeah. So, Zem, during dinner, there's something about Hef that is different. And you can't, you're like sitting there, you're having this conversation, but there's something in the back of your head that's just not, it's bothering you. You're not sure what's going on, and he's very engaged. He's listening and he's nodding. He's not partaking in, he doesn't have anything to add to it. He's listening intently, but there's something about his behavior that's different.
Colored context. That's my guess.
And then you get done with the conversation, decide you're going to go to Ramalia's, and then you're just kind of sitting there and having general conversation stuff, and joking around, and then it hits you. Normally when you sit, and similar, like, the black-haired bartender at the one bar and the wait staff during meals and in the city. Normally, Hef is the kind of in giving glances and paying attention and kind of shyly semi acting like he wants to flirt with them and stuff, that he finds them attractive. It's pretty obvious, and you just you like to joke with him about it and stuff. He's not doing that. This entire evening he has been focused
not even paying the least bit of attention aside from thanking, the waitress when she comes and gives him a refill or and delivers food and stuff. No attention whatsoever.
So that's very unusual for him. Okay, so I will go ahead and drop a divine sense.
Okay. Nothing.
Just for the giggles in the room, just to do a quick check.
Okay. It seems like a standard layout, and certainly from your table is exactly what you would expect.
And nothing unusual in Hef, standard reading, so to speak.
No, not at all. In fact, no change.
Okay. Okay. I will share with Alamir in particular and say, hey, can you pay attention to Hef over there and see if you see anything different than normal? You have a pretty high ability to figure things out, and I was wondering if you notice anything. Can't hear you. Okay, still can't hear you.
I'll do an insight. And apparently, Jenkins is praying. Right back to you there.
All right, go ahead.
Insight. I want to see what's going on inside of this young man, if that's okay.
I'll attempt to assist.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Okay. How about he just rolls?
Yeah. Or that would. So you're watching yourself. Go ahead and all right, 221s. Look at that.
Between the two of us.
So
I mean, it's illusionary. I was in the school before.
So it is different, but it's like there is a...
Did we lose Tom? No, there he is.
No, I'm here. Hopefully that wasn't yeah. Well, hopefully that wasn't Twitch completely going and restarting. All right. I am on.
Could also have lots of fun and do a zone of truth.
I will just say that Hef is he's focused, and it's something has changed, and if you had to bet, it's almost like Hef has
a girlfriend.
or a person who's not here that he is interested in.
Okay.
Yep.
Sarah's mine. Just joking.
Okay.
That's yep. That
right.
and once you kind of come to that, you're like, all right, no, that makes sense. The behavior would match that perfectly.
Okay. And then I will begin to drop hints about, hey, what's new? Hey, what's going on? Any new stuff in here in Waterdeep, and just not ask the question directly, but just continue to ask in a side kind of way. Hey, what's going on? What's new? What's happening in your life? Have you heard from your mom or your sister lately? Anything else going on? Kind of lots of hints.
So that pretty much gets you the answer you want, because there is, with few exceptions, Hef's focus on what he talks about has to do with the Griffin Cavalry, and he mentions several times Captain Bellabranta, who is the very young sister of the Order of the Gauntlet, person that you first reported to, the head of the Order here in Waterdeep.
Okay. So he has interest in her in some way. Yep. Okay.
I thought we had an in with her. That wasn't Hef. Where did we meet her? We've met her before. And it wasn't when we got our griffins.
So
At the
maybe
castle.
you're thinking of her older sister.
Great. She has a twin.
Yes, no, her older sister Savra, and she is the head of the Order of the Gauntlet in Waterdeep.
I knew the name. It's pretty good for me.
Yep.
Okay. Well, so technically we do have an in. I mean, we have a sister.
Right.
I mean, Zeb could double date.
Sure.
And there's a whole nother adventure on its own. Okay,
All right.
that's a side.
So
That's a side
that
quest.
just like that little aside.
Luna could double date too.
You could.
All right, so we have to start with Romalia.
All right, so you go to see Ramalia, and you get there, and Ramalia isn't there when you get there. But you're
Sure,
told that
one
she should be back before too long, within the hour. She had a meeting to go to. So you wait. Are you going to wait? And how long will you wait?
What time is it? Remember, we did sleep, and all we've been doing is buying stuff and relaxing.
Well,
What time is
you haven't technically slept yet. So
I thought we had. Oh, I thought we already we did. Okay.
this is
never
the same day you came back.
mind. Which we came back. You said like mid afternoon, late afternoon.
Right. So
what time is it?
So it's like, let's say 6:30.
Okay.
In all honesty, I don't have to sleep.
So there's time, but it takes about 45 minutes, and Ramalia comes back, and she greets you, and welcomes you. You go and sit down in the normal in the living space, and she asks you what you need.
Do you have any other information on the 4 other dragons?
Besides big long last name.
Besides, whatever. Yes.
Ah. Yes, of course. I do know the names. I can tell you that they are not necessarily all the oldest and most powerful of the metallics, but they were chosen from among their kind to be part of this council. The leader is an ancient male gold dragon whose name is, okay, if I can stop doing that. Nope. Control Z. How did that not take? Let's try this one more time. There we go. Whose name is Protanther. All I know of him is he was a former King of Justice, which is a royal title among gold dragons.
Notes, dragons.
I know that he, as the leader of the council, is going to be the one that you need to focus on convincing.
And he was the gold dragon.
Yes.
Do you have the other dragon's name? And I don't see it in chat. The one that we can't say because it's weird.
It's up there a little ways.
Is that it? I just dropped in.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
That's it.
Yeah, got it. And that he was the.
She was the
Silver.
ancient female silver dragon.
Silver. Okay.
Silver. Yeah.
Yep.
And
And the niece was also a silver.
Yeah, because it was her niece.
Okay. Oh yeah, she could have had stepfather somewhere.
So Romalia says yes. So Protantha is not known for being thinking kindly of humanoids, particularly humans and elves.
Oh, we're screwed.
I don't know exactly why. I just know that is his reputation.
And he's the leader of the council.
Yes.
Double crap in a basket.
And is he a leader, like as in he makes final calls, or is he a leader simply in that he's sort of heading the gang of 5, and then they decide to?
Like
I
a
mean,
puppet.
Yeah.
Puppet
What?
master.
Yeah.
Romalia does not know exactly
Okay.
how that structure works.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
She just Tarali Karnos simply told her that Protanther is the council leader. And then there is a ancient male brass dragon by the name of Eleuthera. And Romalia tells you that Eleuthera is not a lot is known about him, but he is known to travel the plains in search of knowledge and ever-challenging games, and that legend has it that he resides with Agma, the god of knowledge, though that has never been proven.
So he's not on. He's not of this plane, or he dances between planes, or hearsay.
Yes, he travels the plains. He is definitely known to travel the plains.
Okay.
His focus will be on knowledge and logic, and she does not know beyond that where his allegiances and desires might lie.
Okay.
She will give you a little bit of additional information about Tarali Karnos. She'll tell you that she believes that among the lesser races, neither good nor bad is ever absolute, and believes that humanoids are in need of protection and guidance.
Okay, so greeny, blue,
And by
brassy
protection
track.
and guidance, that would be actually righteous living in terms of the teachings of Bahamut.
Which dragon was this?
That was Otaralia Karnos.
Okay. I just like hearing you say that name.
Yeah, thank you.
All I hear is Karnas.
Carnosita?
And if we need more information on any of this stuff, particular one that we want more information on, can burn my free cast of Legend of Lore if need be.
Yep, you have a legend lore. I mean, does that refresh each day?
As far as I know, yeah.
That's
I
what I
think
was
so.
asking.
So you could do one today, one tomorrow. But yeah,
It seems to me Protanther would be the one to attempt that around, right? As an idea.
so
Okay, so he said so. Eleuthera travels the plains. Well, if this was a council of dragons, he had to have been here. He had to have, cashed in his miles and came here for this council.
well, you know that this council is taking place like 400 miles away from Waterdeep.
Right. But he had to be there physically.
Right. Well,
That's
I mean,
what
he
I'm
has
saying.
to come and visit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And now we're missing 2 dragons.
Yep. So
We have a gold, silver, and a brass.
the next is Nimur, who is a male, ancient male bronze dragon,
Bronze.
and Ramalia says, while Nimur is one of the youngest of these ancients, and I don't know a lot about him, but I know that he is reputed to have the most perhaps affection towards humanoids, the largest desire to help and protect us. He potentially, if my knowledge is correct, might turn out to be an ally of sorts.
Okay.
And finally, there is an ancient female copper dragon by the name of Tasmakela. And she is known to have spent a good amount of time living among humans, and in fact is known to be a... Hold on a sec here. Wait a minute. Oh wait, maybe I have this one wrong.
Known to live among humans or love humans?
Lived among humans. A lot of... so she spent a good amount of her hundreds of years living among humans. And yes, that's not the one I was thinking of. So actually, what I'm thinking of is Nimur. So one of the reasons why Nimur may be a...
He's living among the humans.
He actually has... he is a allied protector of the Silmarhelve family, which is a noble family of humans in Waterdeep.
So is Tasmakela known to live? Are they both known to live among humans, or just one of them?
Tasmakela has been known to live among humans. Yes.
What about Nimura?
And Nimura, you had your headset off, but
I know
he is known to be an allied protector of the noble human family of Waterdeep, the Silmarhelves.
Okay. Did you see the Hammerfells?
Here.
That's fine. Silmarhelve, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
It's in the notes.
And that is the extent of what she knows.
Does she have any suggestions on the right approach to convince this group of 5 to have the metallic dragons help us to go to the Well of Dragons and deal with the problem growing there?
You are not going to do much to change the individual beliefs of these dragons in relation to the alliance and the organizations, or the you're not... they have many years of history that they are basing their beliefs on.
Sure.
What they are most likely going to be evaluating are you as individuals, as leaders within the Alliance, and spearheading a lot of the direct actions against the cult.
Worthiness of their help.
Holy crap in a basket. Someone's been typing for the last hour. Everybody's reading.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Greenwood commands you. That's awesome.
Are you standing up on the palisades saying this? And now he's shooting people.
Uh,
Okay, so then Alamir is going to ask. He's going to bring up the history of to see if we can have an in with um, Otarla Concarnes. If providing or having the niece's remains returned, if you think that would buy us the
Stop clicking this so
understanding
long ago.
or the not the understanding but the homage to the dragons to lean to our side to help if we could swing it.
I mean, anything is possible, but again, that is
I know that's like an act
that
of
is
God,
one of the 5 dragons, and that
but
is
it's
going to cause like that is the dwarves have not agreed yet to help to
okay.
send forces, and
Yeah.
that would potentially make it a lot more difficult to
Right, but can you imagine the dwarves saying they're going to join us and then standing right in front is the dwarf wearing this armor of one of the niece of one of the council? That would kind of turn that one away immediately.
Yes, that would not be good. However, I would not put that past the dwarves.
The dwarves.
Yes.
They would do it as a testament. They would wear
Or
it
if they
proudly.
go to
And
battle and that's their battle armor, that's what they're going to wear.
I know I'm stuck on it. I'm still trying to figure out how. So I ask her, does she feel that could be a turning point?
She suggests that you find out first if it's necessary. Hold that in your pocket. See if it's necessary for convincing the council. If you need an additional concession specifically for Otaliarchus,
Then offer it.
then you can offer it.
Okay.
And given the importance of that story, it could be what she asked for.
All right. So, do we have a date, a time, something where we're going to be potential? Do we have a council with the council at a certain time? Have we established that yet?
Yeah, tomorrow morning you're leaving.
Cool. Good to know.
So Elia was said that she would come meet you at breakfast tomorrow morning.
So literally last meal. Got it.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, how many of their not kin, but kin have we been bumping off? I mean, not the good
Well,
guys.
we haven't been killing.
Metallics.
We've been killing the bad dragons, not the good dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way we can get a cast a zone that would eliminate legendary resistances?
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
If magic like that exists, it's either it's good. That'd be. I mean, you might be able to use a wish spell for something like that.
Well, if you can use a wish spell long enough, we could just give ourselves like basically immunity to all damage and stuff at a certain point. Just be a lot of wishes.
No, 5e wish isn't that powerful.
Oh, so just
don't have
resistance?
and then don't have the DM screw it up because of the way you wished it.
Yeah, I saw it bedazzled.
5e wishes basically allow you to cast any spell or equivalent power. So like you could do you could like have like the the resistance protection sphere around. I don't know if you give it like an up cap, maybe around 2 people, something like that. But that's the limit of a wish. So it is very limited. But yeah, so there's nothing like that. So, but that's about all Romalia can do. And she also, but she believes that any additional information that you need is probably going to be just part of the conversation. Like, this is a negotiation, and you're going to have to take the information that what you hear within the meeting. It's good to have ideas going in, and to know as much as you can about the dragons. But what probably the biggest thing that's going to help you is to ask questions, gain information about each dragon's outlook and belief system, and try to play off of that. Try to appeal to those core beliefs in relation to the greater good of helping the Alliance against the cult.
Okay, so
I mean, honestly, what Jinkin posted is actually
That was a general version of it. I didn't think about everything else. Like I said, you didn't. I don't know if you saw all of it either, because the first bit of it went just to Zemsta.
oh no, but
Yeah, that was just my general. Like, this is how my first bit, except for the last line. The last line obviously is
right.
complete bull.
But I love that. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we know who's speaking for us.
Yeah, it was well done.
Well, you mean the person who can't roll under a 10 on a persuasion and gets, well, I think it's plus 16. I think they were already going to be the person who spoke and rolled.
Yeah, the lowest I can roll is 26.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I do get an advantage on that, so I did get a 9.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, the highest I can roll is a 19. All right. So
Off to see a dwarf?
yeah, apparently we are. This is a big ask, by the way.
It is.
If we're gonna go see a dwarf, we cast prestidigitation on our nose so we don't have to smell it.
Or we make it an outside meeting.
I'm covered in my armor.
But we don't say this to the dwarf, and this is all done way before the dwarf. It's just one of those things because they stink.
We just put peppermint underneath our noses. Just right there.
So okay. So you're still going to see if he'll agree to it before you go.
No, well, he can't agree to it to do anything. He doesn't have. I don't think he has the authority to say bail on it. We just want to get the warm and fuzzy on. Is it? How attached are they to a family heirloom?
Is it an option?
Is it a possibility? If not that,
do you want?
Don't wear it.
So here's just an important question since it's already 9:30, or 8:30 for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you want to role play this, or you just want to let me, or do you want a narrative response from this meeting?
You can I believe you can do a narrative response, but if you need rolls to see if there's any persuasion,
No, I don't need
Jenkin.
No, I don't. I don't need rolls to tell you what the response would be.
I mean, it's more for me. It's
Yeah.
more a request. Again, if not return, then just don't wear it.
Well,
I have a feeling something about a kite in a lightning storm.
so
With a key.
the response. So, you meet with King, and now I just lost the name. Council. Conrad Braunnavel. So you meet with King Braunnavel. He gets extremely upset. He is extremely annoyed and angry at the audacity of the assault against the honor of dwarves. That you know, if they had killed this dragon and acquired the hide and turned it into armor, and that was completely honorable at the time, that they were not allies, that they were that the dragon moot was a dwarven sanctioned event. And it doesn't matter whether to him, it doesn't matter whether they're metallic or chromatic. All dragons are enemies of the dwarves.
All right. Well, that answered that question. I mean, that's fine. If it's across the board, I hate to say it, dwarven hatred for all dragons, then it's across the board. I thought, maybe he was, a little bit more diverse in his thinking, and he was having, maybe a little come to God meeting, with Bahamut or whatever. But apparently, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, dwarves are pretty myopic, it seems. So yeah.
I mean, they're short-sighted. Yes.
Yeah, and you get the impression that while he is, that he knows your reputation and is impressed with what you've accomplished, that he is still waiting. He has not.
He hasn't confirmed that they're going to join.
Right, anywhere except for his homeland. He definitely is not sending any troops yet to the Well of Dragons, even though he hates dragons and wants to ensure that Tiamat is not that this does not succeed. And he commends you for coming to ask directly instead of simply making a concession and then coming later. He appreciates that, but he is also personally and deeply insulted by this intrusion into dwarven affairs, what he considers dwarven affairs.
This is when Jenkin is going to step up and do this Braveheart speech and just modify and change some of the words.
I will allow at this point. So, Jenkin, would you like to make a persuasion check to
just to
have a response and ameliorate the overall perception that King Braunnavel has to the group?
Yeah.
And how big this really is.
And I'd like to assist if I can. I know he's got like a plus a gazillion, but I thought I'd attempt to assist anyway.
So and Zemsta is the exact person to
assist that is successful automatically because Braun Anvil respects the Order of the Gauntlet.
Can he borrow my belt of dwarven kind? So he gets advantage on top of his advantage.
It doesn't work like that.
Nope.
You get quadruple. Yeah.
But you'd show up with a belt of dwarven kind.
If you showed up with a dwarven beard.
There you go. I cast disguise.
All right, 34. 34. That's pretty impressive.
Can I do a deception for him to forget that I'm not part of the Order of the Gauntlet?
and he carries a keg.
Well, you have two members of the Order of the Gauntlet in your group.
I'm just saying, is this a deception for him to forget that I'm not part of that deception?
So that is significant. So that is.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about that one, obviously.
And all you were trying to do is calm it. That's all. You're just
almost 3. So, all right, he understands that. So it calms him down. He understands, and you believe that you're able to walk away from the conversation with. I mean, he is not fuming and yelling and angry and upset by the time you leave.
We deflated him.
You
Question for you.
Yes.
So, how bad of an idea is this? This is obviously whatever. I mean, it is.
I'm not casting Fireball.
How bad is it? So I can throw it on here. How bad is it if you turned around and also made it so he hold on.
Here, I gotta look at
if you
one
cast
thing.
modified memory on him to make him think that this is the best interaction he could have possibly ever had, and he was totally I'm kidding, joking, but
I want to see it happen.
That's funny. I'm gonna look at one. I'm gonna see where he currently stands on the scorecard. So there is a scorecard behind the scenes of where all the factions and the leaders stand in terms of support for sending troops and such. Braun Anvil, where does he currently stand? He stands.
What's it out of?
He's 6 out of 7. He's only one point
Shot.
away from support at this point in time. Well, of course, that is actually before. Wait, what has happened? Oh no, you
got hacked.
You captured Naren Vane. You killed Chuth. So
We bumped him up to 7.
So, given where he currently stands and the respect he has for you guys, the 34 actually. He sighs and he goes, "You know, I don't have to be happy about it, but I know you're only trying to make things right, make sure we win these battles. So I'll tell you what. In the very least, I can assure you that if the Lord who currently owns that armor shows up on the line with the dragons, he will no be wearing the armor. He'll leave it at home, locked up tight. And if in these negotiations there be no other options, that you absolutely know for certain that you have to give the armor back in order to get the dragons to help us, and I'll do what I can to make it happen." It's not going to be pretty, I'll tell you that.
Heartfelt. Thank you.
Yeah,
from
for sure.
and I don't know that whether if you are, I'm not. You don't have to roll a heartfelt thank
No.
you. It's not being deceptive. It's not being a performance. It's truly from Alamir, as I mean, a handshake, a beer, whatever it takes.
I bet a beer would go.
I'm
a
not
long
going to
way.
drink him under the table. I'm not even going to attempt that. Although my constitution, I probably might be able to. But yes, it's just one of those things where it was such, without Jenkins, ability to persuade. Thank you, Jenkins. We'll give you one. You get one inspiration from Alamir.
And Elamir, because you've been wearing this belt so long, like without even
I'm
any
growing a
rolls-
beard.
Oh, you definitely have a huge dwarven beard. You have a beard that is truly
Impresses
impressive.
him. So it's one of those things where I don't know how you can, without sounding too campy. It's one of those things where it shouldn't have, as you said earlier, but it did. And Jenkins laughing again. That's Jenkins laughing. There we go. That's what it's. So yeah.
All right. So you make it back to the inn. You've had your conversations. You have a lot more information. Everyone going to sleep?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Before you go to sleep, Jenkins, did you want to use your belt's ability?
Yeah, we should use it at least every chance you have a chance to do it, especially since we have names to actually go with it now.
Yep. My thought was Namir, if that's the one that we can persuade. The other one would be anything about Protanther.
Ymir is the not the gold. The gold dragon's the ill.
Bronze, male bronze is Namir. Temekala is the female
Copper.
copper.
Isn't Ymir? It's already the one that's kind of on our side. He's the one that you mentioned that was
He is
willing to help us out. So we kind of, based off that, we kind of know his.
Are we trying to turn him into an
Stance.
ally? We would need possibly more leverage, maybe. That's now the real one is if Protanther is more of the puppet master, that's probably the first one to do. I'm guessing. And then do we need to get an advocate, right? I don't know.
You said the last one. Like, who's that? Oh, yeah, that's the gold dragon. It's the Protanther one, right?
Protanther. Yep.
Because that's the one that we're probably least likely going to instantly be able to.
He doesn't like
Sure
humanoids. Yeah, he doesn't like humanoids. He finds most humanoids irrelevant and basically annoying, from what I heard.
Well, we'll get him with 2 shots of this. I feel like Pro, and you said which other one?
I was thinking the proposal was Namira, just because if he's going to be an advocate for us, in other words, selling his team or those 4 others, perhaps he's the one to get on our side first, right? Go out of our way to make sure he's actually advocating for what we're trying to get done.
Yes.
At least that was the thought.
I'm with that. I'm aligned with that. Ted? Sir. EM. EM.
Mm-hmm.
EM.
What?
I just started throwing names out there and whatever out there.
Okay, so who are you starting with?
Well, we're gonna do one this right away, and then we can do one in the morning right away anyway. My great dragon follower here tells me should we go with Ymir first, and then in the morning I'll do Mr. Protanther.
Okay. All right. So Nimur is first.
And what exactly are you doing? It's a legendary.
Legend and lore. It's a spell that lets you get information about stuff. I've never actually used it before.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
level is that? Just out of
It's like
curiosity.
a
It's a level 5 spell if it was a spell.
Or is it
Oh,
5?
wow.
I thought it was 7, but maybe it is it only level
It's
5?
different in this version. Yeah.
Okay, but it's based on a spell. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
At least I believe it's it's Legend of Lore.
It's
Yeah.
just like he Googled it.
5th level. So
It's also on my
Okay.
spell list if I wanted it to be. Just not really.
Yeah.
See,
So
there it is.
it brings to your mind a brief summary of the significant lore of the thing you named. Okay. The more information you already have about the thing, the more precise and detailed information you receive is. All right. The information you learn is accurate, but might be couched in figurative language.
Yeah.
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So, you already know that Nimur protects the noble Waterdeep family of Somerhelve.
Should we talk to them also?
As he said that, I thought exactly the same thing. That sounds like leverage to me.
So so your spell brings up the information that he began that relationship with the family in 1032 DR. So just under 500 years ago. And it is believed that his relationship with them, in terms of the noble families of Waterdeep, have turned them into a more kinder, basically better people for the city in general. Let's see. Things, it probably is going to focus on things related to this. But really, that's really the only other thing. So, so you know that Nimur's thinking about humanoids is based on the idea that metallic dragons are created by Bahamut in Bahamut's image. They have little to no choice but to be good and do good. Whereas humanoids, any of the lesser species, have to freely choose to be good. And therefore, that choice is powerful and valuable. And he has known many who have chosen such. And seeing that good within the humanoids of the realms, that is where he gained his affinity and affection for them. And you also pick up one other little tidbit in it, may or may not be relevant, and that during the last Draco Rage, when dragons were forced to go on rampages, Nimur accidentally teleported himself into the plane of mirrors and has an obsession from that experience with a race known as the Nera, which are humanoids with mirror-like skin.
Question on that. Do we know what these look like? Have we ever laid eyes on
No.
them?
No. Nope.
Okay.
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I only just saw the first picture I've ever seen of them.
The reason I'm asking is not that this is necessarily what we want to do, but we could always use glamour to make us look like them.
Nice.
I'm not sure if it would be a good thing or it might be considered a ruse. We'll have to figure that out later.
Yeah. So this is a lot of information and stuff. If I could suggest that we kind of move on to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to forget a
You
lot
can
of
spend the
it
rest of the
between
time.
now and next week.
Yep.
Does that sound good? All right, so let's move to the next morning. Everyone has had their long rest, and you're going to do the second one on Protanther?
Yeah, that would be my best guess.
Okay.
He's the leader of the group, so we have to kind of understand where he's going to, you know?
So Protanther has been around for a long time. Long enough that he is believed to have created the Great Glacier, or is rumored, and actually, because you're doing legend lore, you're pretty sure that, yes, he did create the Great Glacier, which is an ancient glacier that came down and basically covered much of northern Faerun.
I heard that the bringing Tiamat to the surface is actually supposed to actually melt the glacier. It's actually one of the repercussions or the causes. Sorry.
Yes. That, it's going to create global warming.
Yes. We're gonna have to bring in Godzilla to fight him.
So, but the Great Glacier was created by him to try to rid. That he was on a crusade to rid the glacier of evil, but that he actually has very powerful magical abilities. Has been around long enough that he may even know something of the ancient magic of the elves that created the Mythals. He, in the Draco Rage of 1373, he that interrupted his crusade in the Great Glacier because of the rage. He was put under a sleep spell to help him avoid falling to madness, but then he was awoken by mutated giants and planar dragons and ice demons when they invaded his lair. So he spent basically the majority of the last century dealing with invaders with the help of other good aligned dragons.
So what I got here is that he can be magically put to sleep, where lesser beings cannot. Me elves. Just saying. Okay.
Just to be fair, the person who put him to sleep, and you would know this from your spell, was Lauren Dramagar, a extremely powerful gold dragon sorcerer. He is one of the most famous gold dragons in the history of the world. He is, and actually is still alive somewhere, and is well over 1,500 years old. So,
Do you know if he wasn't a sorcerer and was a druid, he could even live longer because then he could change his years to one for every 20, I think it is. Just saying.
Yeah. So, I think that's about it. And you already knew he was a king of justice. So, yeah. So, you know that he is extremely powerful. Definitely has a very warlike nature. Is definitely a crusader for good. But his crusades have always been working with other dragons and similar, none of the lesser races.
Well, he hasn't met a dragon monk and a dragon devotee. I was going to call him a dragon cultist, but he's, you know.
Same thing. Yeah, religion, cult, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that is, every religion is technically a cult by yeah.
But I just don't want him to, I don't want to, confuse the two between the dragon, cult of the dragon, and then a dragon cult. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, just to not be confusing.
Of course.
The dragon cult is actually a good group. The cult of the dragon's a bad group.
Yeah, they're bad. They're frowny faced. Hmm. Hmm.
Awesome.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay.
So Elia shows up, silver-haired. For some reason, I can't find her picture again. But she shows up and she goes, "All right. So are you all ready to go?"
Sure. We're as ready as we ever will be.
So
That sounds about right.
How are I gotta get her voice back. How are we going? It is quite the journey. Normally I fly there. It takes 2 days for me to fly, and you could ride on my back. But Romalia tells me you have the ability to teleport.
Yes, we do.
So,
Yes.
in that case, we need to take a quick stop because I need to go back because there was one thing I forgot to do.
Oh, that's a shame.
Before you wake up in the morning,
We have some dreams.
yes, there you have some interesting dreams. So, Alamir, you are
Yep.
sitting there doing your meditation, and you feel a presence at the door to your mind.
Yeah, Tiamat's back. I know.
And you recognize it from those days of your training at Candlekeep, and you do recognize it as the Queen of Dragons. Do you let her in?
You betcha.
Then all of you, because the rest of you are sleeping and cannot and are not protected in your sleep from this. You, in your dreams, shadows take form and deepen as the air thickens with an ominous presence. The dreamscape contorts in the spectral form of Tiamat, the queen of chromatic dragons, materializes in a nightmarish display, filling your inner sight with her massive draconic form. Her 5 heads sway in a hypnotic dance, each one fixating on you with an unsettling intensity. Her voice, a sinister symphony of serpent-like hisses and guttural growls, speaks draconic words that reverberates through the dreamscape. Feeble mortals, meddling in affairs beyond your ken, she hisses, her eyes gleaming with malevolence. You dare to meddle in the affairs of my worshippers and work against me and my destiny directly. Know this, insignificant ones. Your insolence has not gone unnoticed. And then a dark aura envelops and spreads outward from her body, focusing your attention on a huge red-scaled head as it lowers and fills your inner vision completely. Hot breath saturated with sulfuric essence washes over you as she continues. Death shall be the currency of your defiance. The flames of retribution will consume your hopes, and the abyssal depths will claim your wretched souls. I am the harbinger of doom, the embodiment of primordial chaos. In my wake, despair follows like a shadow. And the dreamscape shudders, and her presence intensifies, and her words linger in your mind like a curse. Your fate is sealed, adventurer. No sanctuary shall shelter you from the storm that approaches. Embrace the inevitability of your demise, for it is I, Tiamat, who shall orchestrate the symphony of your destruction. And with a final malevolent roar, the red head opening and rushing forward to engulf your mind as if it was swallowing you whole. And the dreamscape collapses, and you awake, drenched in sweat, your skin red and feverish, and within your mind, you still hear the haunting echoes of Tiamat's ominous promise.
I raised my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Since that was in Draconic and I don't understand it, can she do it again in Common?
Excuse me.
I mean, it was a good show, but
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you do that again in Common, please?
I mean, I don't wear my helm while I sleep. Come on.
I mean,
so
the effects were pretty cool. Can you do
exactly.
that again?
I mean,
Yeah.
it was a good show. I mean, TSO over again, but
But you would have understood her in your dream.
all right.
Yes.
You said in Draconic, so I was like, cool. It's a good show.
No. You would have
With no
but
subtitles.
It was in Draconic, and you understood it in your dream.
Okay. So subtitles, got it.
Yeah. In your dream, your mind automatically translated.
I wear the helm so often now, I don't have to. That's that.
No, but the dream that it was like telepathy in your dream.
Gotcha.
All right. Now you awake and you get breakfast and you do the legend lore and
Gotcha.
all right. So excellent. So you can teleport then. Excellent. Here.
Is there a circle that he has that I can copy to put in my book? Or are we shooting from the hip and just going based on, okay, it's a field with 3 trees.
She pulls out from from within the left-hand breast of her of a soft leather jerkin that she's wearing, a jacket, and she pulls out a gemstone of bright iridescent yellow, green, blue, and purple. It's a very rare gemstone called amolite. She
Not
says,
ruby.
Huh?
It's not a ruby. Back
No.
off, Jenkins.
She says, "This is from my hoard, and we can use it to teleport safely to my lair. Otherwise, like I said, it's 760 miles away. So this would be the quickest,
Will we
easiest
need-
way to get there.
Will we need our griffins while we're there?
No, you will be from my lair to the meeting place. You can ride on my back.
And is Hef here for breakfast, or do we need to go get him?
Hef is there.
Okay. Is
What
everybody
does he
here?
think? What does he think about the idea of riding on her back?
Hef is very quiet.
He's infatuated with her.
No, but you do remember Hef just had an experience where he was incapacitated for an entire battle from the fear of the dragon.
That's true.
So he is quiet and reserved because of that experience. Not
Understood.
feeling overly confident.
Understandable.
All right. So,
Me too.
she hands you the gem, and you know that with an item from the place, you have 100% accuracy in teleportation.
Gotcha.
All right. So we're
Just let her rip. Let her rip.
all right.
You know, if we had a gem like that, could just bring us to the spot where all the things are being kept, and then we could teleport out. That'd be even better yet. Just saying.
So you teleport and you end up in a lavish. It's a huge marble hall, and as you get there, she instantly transforms into her large dragon form, and this is what the dragon form looks like. And she is huge, 30 by 30 foot space on a battle map. And she looks down, and in a much deeper voice, but very similar to the one that her humanoid form uses, she goes, through, follow me. Well, actually, we must. This is quicker than I knew for sure we were going to be here. So, if you would wait here for a little bit, make yourselves comfortable, and I shall notify the rest of the council that we are ready to meet. And she goes through a huge archway out into a huge, large hall and turns to the right. And
Following?
No, she asked you to stay here. You
Okay,
can follow
not
if you want,
following.
but she
I
asked
mean, if you
to
follow,
wait.
go ahead.
Nope, not following.
So she is gone for about 15 minutes. Not that
So
long.
the gem we used to come here was a gem from her hoard. So that means we're standing on the hoard, and she left.
From her lair. It was from her lair.
Okay,
So,
just making sure.
And actually, she would have taken it back. She would take it
Yeah,
back.
I mean, it doesn't
or
destroy,
ask you
yeah.
to put it. There is a spot in this room. There is a like a table in the human furniture, because there is human furniture here, human sized. There is a little pedestal where it fits perfectly into it.
Okay.
So she comes back and she says that they're gathering. It might be, but probably is going to be about an hour. Because they have to wait for Eleuthera, who has the furthest to travel. He was off plane.
Of course.
So so you wait, and after a while, she says, "All right, we should be able to go now. Follow me." And she walks, and you walk into the hallway, and you notice the hallway goes a good deal to these huge double doors in the far left end of the hall. And on the other end, they go out to, they just go out to this large platform. And remember those platforms that were outside the rooms in the Flying Castle? It's like that. Or like the Eyrie in Game of Thrones, where you are high up in the mountains, looking down over the into the deep valleys, and across into other mountains in the range. Because right now, actually, let's just pull this over real quick. In the world maps, nope, not that one. Hold on, that's the wrong map. How about this map? There we go. So in this map, did I add no, I didn't. So up in the
Can't
top
see it.
here is the Nether Mountains. And so you are up here south, probably a little bit, somewhere like north of Hellgate, south east of Sundabar. So yeah, you traveled a long distance. And so you get on her back, and you begin flying. And in the distance, you see a plateau
We don't see it, Tom.
on a mountain. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't bring you there, did I? Hold on. Let me
No.
do this real quick. Sorry. My bad. So first on the top, I'm just showing you where you're at. So the Nether Mountains up here. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So Sundabar, Hellgate Keep, you're up there. And so you see a plateau. And on the plateau, you see a couple of dragons landing, and one huge gold dragon and one absolutely huge brass dragon, and then two other dragons that are about the size of Otarialarchus. Let me go back here. Here. Drag you here. There we go. So, and she lands, and you all get off. And this is your meeting with the council.
3,500 hit points, huh?
Who said
And the way to answer that, fireball.
So, so this is Protanther.
I'm guessing that's the guy down at the bottom.
Yes, that is the one on the bottom.
Oh, their names. I didn't even see it. Their names are underneath them. Okay.
Yeah, if you hover, yeah, you should be able to see their names on them too.
This one has no name though.
Which one? That one?
The top right.
There, now you can see it.
Okay, that works. Okay.
So, one sec here. All right. So Eleuthera. So that is Eleuthera. This is Nimur. And this is Tasmakella.
Okay.
And so as you land, you are introduced to each of them. And they all very politely, courteously greet you, welcome you, and then without further preamble, Protanthar says, "Very well, let us get started. No reason to waste time with pleasantries."
What are they speaking in?
Common.
I mean, I understand. I'm wearing my helmet, but
Right,
I
but
just
you
didn't
can't.
know.
But yeah, and they're speaking in common.
Okay. Works for me.
So, go ahead and present your petition, humanoids.
Well, just a point of clarification here with you, Tom. They created this council. They brought this group together, and they sought us out to come here. Do they have a preamble as far as like why they requested us here and what they're looking from us? Or no, I'm just trying to understand. Should they be starting or should we be starting? Because we felt invited more than.
What brought us here? Not
So-
to Olean the Cannabis.
Okay, so let's go back. So just to clarify, the council was put together. Of this council was put together, from what you've been told, to determine what to do about the cult and how to approach it. The Alliance chose you as emissaries to try to convince, to meet with the council. The council didn't necessarily invite anyone here. They were asked by the Alliance if they would meet with representatives.
Okay.
To so that to give you a chance to try to convince them to work with the Alliance directly.
So they basically got talked into at least listening to us, and that's the point of this. But they did do the invite. This was their doing as far as inviting us here, with coaching from, like you say, people at Waterdeep or wherever, just saying, "Hey, you need to talk to these guys." Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And so we can do this. We could, I mean, role playing it takes a long time, but we could do that because if you want to do that, I'm perfectly fine with that. Or we can just talk points and
Let's talk
and more
points.
generalizations.
Let's talk points only because I think, in all honesty, our fiendish bard should be speaking his mind, utilizing at least as a prepared speech. These are
I was gonna say,
dragons.
I did partially prepare a speech, but that's when I started kind of posting as a part of.
And that's fine. And that's fine. But remember, we're talking to ancient dragons, and ancient dragons are big on grandeur, big
True.
on show, big on presence. So shouldn't we start with not just, hey guys, we're here. What do you need? I mean, I hate to say it. This is why you're here. You came up with that very well written.
Yep.
Stolen.
And I do take that into consider, and I will take that whatever point you come up with. I'm going to just say that it's couched within that type of verbiage and
You're the only one that has truly not deception, but performance, and can probably, like you did before,
right,
get away with it.
And pull off the rhetoric needed to interact here.
Yeah, it's not nobility. Go ahead.
So to be fair, my performance, I just have it passively. Just throwing that out there.
Yep.
So Alamir, he himself, he's bringing negotiation to the table. He's bringing, what can we do for you? What can you do for us? And let's figure out how to get to a mutual point. That's what Alamir brings to this table. He's using mercantilism as his go by. Zem is bringing the Bahamut, the connection of faith. That's what you'd call Bahamut, a faith, but religion, cult, whatever. We've got Luna. Luna's bringing nature and the world, the Earth, or whatever, the planet that we're on, and the creatures and everything else. We've got a half-orc monk who's bringing, I got no idea.
He's bringing the monk stuff.
He's bringing the monk stuff, which,
and he's the way of the dragon, right?
Yes.
I think something like that.
Yeah, he is, right.
So he's not necessarily a follower per se, like of Bahamut, but he is
But he can spit fire or acid or whatever.
Bahamut's teachings and the magic, draconic magic.
And you're the face. Jenkins right now is. If there's any time, this is where you want to put it up. Tighten your whiteys and.
Is this your coaching session for Jinkin? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
I think you need to roll for it.
So here's the thing. So I will tell you.
Roll. I want to see this now.
So
I want to see. What do I wrote? Persuasion? We're so screwed.
So I'll just tell you.
Let me just go ahead.
Game wise, without any concessions, the DC to convince the dragons to help is very high, which you could accomplish with your skill and whatever, but it's going to take a really lucky roll.
But you said other things can add into it, right?
Yes. So,
and I'm sorry I was not here.
You immediately get the idea that the information you've been given about these dragons is pretty accurate. Protanther is definitely unfriendly. So Protanther has an attitude of unfriendliness. Eleuthera seems somewhat neutral, right? Which is kind of what you were kind of expected.
In and out, yeah.
Taralia Karnos
is also relatively neutral. Nimur seems to be friendly and relatively supportive, and Tasmakella is also relatively neutral.
But could be off neutral, leaning towards support.
Right. Well,
because they wouldn't want the humans to be or humanoids to be destroyed because they like to live among them.
well,
So that would be to me. It's not going all the way to support, but it's off neutral. Yes.
so the first response Protanther gives to you as you're talking about why you're here, why you know, the positive reasons why they should help. I'm going off of what Jenkin wrote originally.
I don't know if you saw the first part of it though.
I
Just so you know.
It got cut off.
Yeah, well, the first part of it is that's.
I did not see that.
Yeah, there's the very first part to start off. I might have misspelled something in there.
Nope, that's good.
Nope, I did it.
Yep.
My thought was so I don't really know what to give concession wise, and the only thing I have that I would feel like super precious to me, I'm not willing to give up. So I'm concession free, but I figured I would go on logic and you know, that kind of stuff.
But a concession doesn't have to be something physical.
Okay.
Right.
Well, let me
Right.
then let's do this. Let me
Drop
just
part
real
cut
quickly
off.
go through each of the dragons and give you what they're looking for in concessions.
Well, I think it does. Okay.
Protanther makes a speech about how many of the world's most wicked civilizations were built by humans who bargained with sinister forces for power, and he sees that as a quintessential flaw in human nature. And that humans also make up the majority of evil archmages and liches, including Samaster, who founded the Cult of the Dragon, and Zastam's Red Wizards, and Severin and most of the leaders of the Cult of the Dragon are humans. And the elves, while longer lived and possessing great knowledge as a race, have used that knowledge to the detriment of dragonkind in the past. They created the Dracoridge Mythal that sent dragons across Faerun into an uncontrolled rage. They caused all of that. And he would prefer that the dragons simply rally their forces and go and fight alone and not work with the alliance. He wants to fight, which is what you know about him. He's ready for the crusade, but he wants to just do it with just the dragons and not work together.
In reality, out of game, can the dragons actually take on Tiamat without a lot of help?
Well,
To
this
me,
is before
to me,
Tiamat.
that seems overachieving.
This is before Tiamat, though.
Right. This is for Tiamat, but also there are forces there. From what you know, you don't know how many dragons could be pulled in, but you know that the forces there are larger and growing daily than any single force could take on. And even these powerful dragons against chromatic dragons plus the red wizards plus the demons, like, yeah, they're probably not going to be able to do it by themselves.
It's an overpower right there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, OP. Yep.
So, and the concession that he is looking for is a formal apology from one who speaks for Elvenkind for the abomination that was the Dracoridge Mythal. So that would be King Melindrock would have to make that apology. So,
Any of you guys
I'll
have any
be
good-
right back. As I said, put it on. You know, I have some information that he doesn't want released. So give me a second. I'm going to see if I can bar it out.
So, Eleuthera
That's the easy one.
he's the knowledge based one. He's the one that he's seen good and bad in equal measure among all the lesser races,
And he understands that every individual humanoid possesses the potential for good and evil in equal measure. And what he sees as important to the discussion is not whether you are worthy of aid, but rather how much the dragons can trust you. To which I'll just say that as soon as he says that, Tazmikella immediately jumps in and says, exactly, because betrayal is a dominant humanoid trait. We can never forget that. And that's the core of her reservations. And she agrees with Portanther that they could strike against the chromatic dragons themselves, but she's not convinced that that would succeed, and having humanoid allies would reduce the casualties for both sides. So she wants to protect as many dragons as possible from pain and suffering and unnecessary death. I'm jumping to her because it just made sense. Alamir, she looks at you and she's staring at you for a long time while the conversations were going on. And when she's talking, she looks back at you and she says, your staff, the staff of power, once was part of her hoard. An item she took as a trophy from an ancient black dragon that she had defeated. And it holds great sentimental value to her.
And this was Tazmikella?
Yes. And so returning the item to her with an apology would...
An apology from me or apology from the king?
No, apology from you for
the
humanoid stealing from her, basically.
Sure.
So
he speaks for all humanoids.
Yes. Back to Eleuthera.
Well, if that's the case, then I talk for the king.
Yeah, you're elf, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what are we saying? Yeah, so he just talked for all
I
the
can
elves.
I can knock out 2 of them. I got 2.
Perfect.
3. I got 3 because I got the armor too. Yes. Well, this is gonna be easy.
So Eleuthera really doesn't seem to have he came into this with no preconceived ideas of what they should do. He really came in completely open-minded to the discussion. However, he believes that the dragon masks are too dangerous to remain in the world, especially with humanoid races being aware of where they are. And so he would like the dragon mask to be handed over to the metallic dragons.
Is there an option to have them destroyed?
They would take care of that, but they don't trust that.
Okay.
I mean, if they're obviously destroyed as part of the battle, fantastic. As long as they can verify it.
Currently, all we know is that the masks have all been pulled back into the Well of Dragons.
Right.
We don't have any of them that we thought we had. We don't. Okay.
So you hear more directly during the conversation from Otar Heliakarnos. And she sees that among the lesser races, neither good or bad is ever absolute. And she says that if dragons insist on focusing only on their own advancement, the humanoids will persist in making the same mistakes again and again, and it's only through Bahamut's teachings that they will learn and grow. And she says, and speaking of grandfather, does he not teach us to honor and protect the lesser races just as much as he teaches justice and good above all? To which Namur jumps in and says, and makes statements about what I told you, what you learned of him before, about how he sees dragons in the image of Bahamut having no choice, and how it's much greater and more precious is the good when it's freely chosen by humanoids. And he adds to it, we must not forget the Partarian code. Justice and good above all, honor and fealty to the king, honor and respect to righteous innocence, and honor and duty to the balancer, to her mercy, and to the justice maker. Honor and protection to the lesser races. Honor and correction to the enemies of justice and good, and honor and forbearance for oneself. So he has no concessions that he asks for, whereas Otaria Karnos, while she would like the metallic dragons to strike now, as Pertanther suggests, but doesn't know if they can succeed alone again. But she does ask for exactly what you thought, the skin of her slain kin, and an apology from the from Bron Anvil on behalf of all dwarves for the wrongful deaths that dragon moots have caused. So that's all the information that the discussion brings out.
I might be a little lost on that. Where are these skins?
They're the armor that
the armor,
Armor.
that
the
Armor.
armor, the armor
the niece.
that, from her dead niece that the dwarves killed.
The dwarves killed the niece, made her skin into armor, and he wants that armor back with an apology from the king of the dwarves. The only concession we got from the king of the dwarves is he would do his very best to make sure that the armor is not worn to battle. It's not really giving it up. So we have to try and bend it. Or use it in that form instead of the other.
You know, if it was adamantine or mithril, it wouldn't have bent. Just saying.
That's true. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So where do we start? First, I think, of course, we're starting with Jinx. That's why he's in the middle. He's putting on his
I just figured I was going to
P.T.
get burned
Barnum
here.
hat. So, do you want us to do the concessions first, Tom, to see how that drops the?
So basically, are you going to offer concessions? Or are
Yes,
you
because
gonna
I feel a
try
little
to
help.
convince them without concessions?
It all depends on what he rolls.
No, because he's
Just-
only going to get one roll.
Well,
He's only going to get
I
one roll.
think
Well-
we should try and get as many concessions before you roll.
You know the concession side of it better than any of us do.
Well, let's
No, I
put it
know.
this
Is-
way: you can get multiple rolls, but the DC will keep going up, and if you
No.
don't make
I
it the
was-
first time, it will take more concessions to get something.
But if
favorable.
we put a concession on, successful or not, an attempt for a concession, to each one of them, and then roll, there is that chance that the roll is either A, assisted to make it higher, or lessened because we've given concessions.
So here's the other thing that kind of, because this is dynamic. So you could try to not make concessions and then see if you can tell whether any of the dragons' attitudes change and improve
Based on his speech?
based on speech.
And how do we do that? With insight? We're screwed.
Yes, that would be with insight.
Still screwed.
How we screwed?
Yeah,
I know.
like
My insight's not the best.
I got a
Yeah, but at
+4.
least that's still a shot. That doesn't mean
But
you're
we
screwed.
we would each get an insight. So
I mean, you have
Somebody wants to assist me with insight.
well, Jinkin has a passive insight of 20.
yeah, I don't.
and if I assist you, I can actually if somebody assist you, I can give you inspiration, which gives you D10 roll to the insight
Yep.
to add to your roll.
Yeah,
That-
again,
can't
you
do
have
it
the
to myself,
higher.
though.
You have give it to yourself.
I can't
Yeah.
give it to myself. I have to give it to him.
I gave it to you earlier. Remember?
No,
I have a pass. Tom, look at my passive insight. It's 19.
Yeah, that's better than I got.
Oh, it went up.
So-
I didn't update that when you went up a level.
So the 19 should be assisting the 20, right?
Well, no, because
well,
the 20 can
For
give
all-
the 19 an additional D10.
Okay.
yes.
Yes, on
And
top
he-
of assisting.
Yeah, this is
Got
not
it.
assisting. That's just I can give him
Right, but I'm
inspiration,
saying
and
you
then
can
he
give him
can.
advantage also.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
what concessions are we actually able to
Okay.
provide?
Okay,
First of all,
physical concessions. I will. First thing is the staff of power. I personally will. I'm going to explain that wielding the staff of power is truly um, not something that should ever have been taken lightly. And yes, I'm addicted to it, but I am willing to return it, but I would do it after we take down Tiamat. So the return with an apology after the fight.
so you can use it through the fight to
So
make
I
sure you
can
can
use
succeed.
correct, and I will return it. I will place it at your feet, knowing that Tiamat has been destroyed or
Yeah, and
returned or whatever.
are we talking about this before we're doing this, or is this?
No, we're looking for a concession, and that's the first. Okay,
My concern would be by presenting it the way you just presented it, since they don't trust humanoids, and
no,
one
that
of
this
one.
one does. This one does.
No, Taz McKella is the one who said
Oh,
that
sorry. This
No.
all
the-
betrayal
And
is a dominant humanoid trait.
Yes, and Protanther basically said kind of the same thing. He wants apologies from Elvenkind. You happen to be an elf.
yeah, but he won't. Okay, so I am going to attempt to Tazmacala to offer it at the end of the fight because it will be a useful tool to to complete this adventure, this endurement.
It will increase our odds of also saving more dragonkind as well.
True, and I will give it up after we've completed our task.
He cuts his hand,
With,
gives a blood
and I
out.
will even apologize right now on behalf of all humankind and all the evil that humankind or humanoid kind has been, has done, has taken. I will return it to you with pleasure.
So, Alamir,
Yes. I was supposed to say yes, ma'am.
how sincere are you?
Oh my God, I am. I will give up the staff. If this will help create a bridge between Tazmacala, one to the Dragon Council, and two to the fight against Tiamat, he will return it.
Okay, so that she agrees to that. Very good.
Plus, I get 3 items from the Horde. No, just joking. Okay, so no, we can if you want. It's in writing. I put blood. I put my thumbprint on it. The whole thing.
Okay.
Did they accept? Did she does Tazmacala accept the apology?
She accepts that. She accepts it, and she thanks you for it.
Okay. For the apology from Elven kind, that was Eleuthera? No, that was
Protanther.
Protanther. I will genuinely say, as an elf, I don't know if my personal apology for all elven kind is worth its weight in words.
No, you are not.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just asking.
Yeah. I mean, basically,
I back it off. I put the hands up.
That only a great leader of
Oh, really?
of
Okay.
of elven kind
that cut deep.
Has the ability to give that apology.
So you want the
able to
weight
speak
of it
for
to
a large
be
number of them, and to make it really count. For
Elven
anything.
kind though is as splintered as the dragons.
True, but I mean.
Yeah, he wants the king. He wants the king.
Somewhat,
to be
but
fair,
but to a leader of a large group of elves.
Gotcha.
So
Cast illusion and make a whole bunch of owls appear.
I say I understand. We gotta talk to the king,
and
to the other
especially
council
one
chair.
that has lived, that was alive during the last.
Yeah,
That like
right.
King Melindrock was alive during the last Draco Rage.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's
Next.
relatively that's very significant.
I'm gonna let Bahamut speak for himself there, Sam. You got to pull in Protanther.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that, but
Be right back.
So in relation to that, I will just point out the two things here that both Eleuthera. No, that's not the one. Sorry. Hold on. So Nimur, of course, said a lot about Bahamut and the Patarian Code, which, oh, that's a good question. You probably don't know what the Patarian Code is.
mm-mm.
I
mean, or do I? I don't recall hearing about it. So
no, but I'm positive Alamir does, and could have mentioned it. The Patarian Code is the draconic.
What is the code?
Is the tenets of Bahamut for Dragonkind.
okay.
And he did say what exactly it was. That was the protection of the lesser races, honor and correction of enemies of justice and good, and forbearance for oneself at the end of that list. That he stressed.
And so you could use the. Sorry, I'm not the computer. You could use our adventures and what we've done to save, release, find the people from the dragons, from the blah blah blah. In the name of Bahamut, because he's the man.
Our dedication to right the wrongs other mankind has
to
done
dream
to humanity
the
and dragons.
impossible dream, to fight the unbearable. Oh, never mind.
Please mute. Please mute.
Yep.
I was singing duct tape.
Anyway,
I mean, if you just want to, like, in general, say, I'm going to make an argument based on this, that would work.
Yeah, somehow the argument that went through my mind was because the fundamental issue here is trust, right? And you got to look at where we've come from, the time frame we've done it, and how we're trying to be a better group, helping the world become a better world, and us individually, on top of that, as a part of the world, all get better. You look at how Hef came along, and this group has nurtured and helped Hef to the point that he is. That's the kind of people we are, right?
Yep.
What Spot does with the children.
Yes, what Spot does with the children when we go into the city, how we help people in general. We are aligned with metallic dragon kind values. We follow mostly within the text of Bahamut. We follow most of those tenets as we live them.
We follow it by choice.
Yeah, we don't follow it by reciting it as a mantra and saying this is what we believe. This is what we do. And we have evidence if you look at all the things we've done. Yes, have we had mistakes and perhaps not always gone the perfect path? Well, we're humanoids after all. And but we're learning and we're getting better and we're here to help. Because I question if you guys go on your own, which it sounds like that's an option, play that out. What happens if you win? Okay, everything's great, and then you go on your way. But what happens if you attack them and you lose? What are the consequences of living in a material plane where Tiamat is the ruler? Do you really want to leave that to chance?
Enslaved by him.
Do you?
Here's the other thing. Even if they do win, how many of their dragon kind are they going to lose, taking away from what they can do? according to their tenements.
So my thought was just to talk about our group, how
Yep.
we live our lives, how we do it, and how we are approaching them in an honorable, respectful manner to say we would like to help, and we
We
would
do
like us to work together.
we do not mention the fact that we ran into a round innocent set of lizard men and fireballed them.
That was one of the mistakes.
So, and Otara Leocarnos and Nimur, as you're making the argument, step in and reinforce the Bahamut pieces. So go ahead and so this is Zem. So this is an interesting thing. Zem, roll me a d20 for Hef. And your saving throw bonus is +4 now?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to add 6 to this. Oh, jeez. All right, never mind. Hef is like standing back. little more. He stays within 10 feet of Alamir and stuff, but he's definitely cowed and by the dragons.
But to that end, when I see him cower and I see him kind of shrinking, that's when I actually turn it up another notch and I talk about his mother, talk about his sister, how we came from the village that we came from, and continuing on that path.
So okay, then I'll let you have one more roll, so he gets this with advantage. So one more time.
Oh, Spot? What?
Hey, Spot. Wonderful.
No, you get with advantage.
That was with advantage. So +6, I said, so 15. All right, that's just barely enough. So Hef steps forward. So, and actually, he'll go ahead and he'll just kind of step between Spot and Alamir, and step forward, and he will add in a kind of quiet, but then speaking up to make sure he's heard, voice, adding how that growth and all the good that everything he's learned and all the good that he's been taught, and he will specifically quote the teachings of Bahamut that have led him to be the person that he is, and some of the things that he does, and how he was raised with the teachings of the Earth Mother, and that those have not all been replaced, but bolstered by the teachings of Bahamut. And he will specifically name a few of the things that he's done and that follow those beliefs. So now, Zem, with advantage, I'd like a persuasion check from you. Wow.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wow, and a crit. And so I lower DC. A crit lowers the DC by 5. So it's like having +5 to the roll, which is 34. Okay. Luna, with advantage, plus a D10. Go ahead and roll just a general insight check, please. Cool. 25, 27. Okay. 27's good. That is good enough. Not by much, but that's good enough. You can tell that Tasmakilla, with the concession, is now supportive. And with this last conversation about Bahamut and the good that you guys do, Nimur and Eleuthera have become supportive as well.
Point of order: how do they vote? Is it simple majority, or do they all have to agree?
So it is a
Telepathic.
yeah, no, it is you actually don't know. You could ask.
It's a bit bold to be saying. So how exactly are you going to vote on this? Because I'm trying to count the votes.
So, but I'll tell you what. With the insight, you also can get an idea of, based on the conversation that's been going on, you all really get a sense that it is, even though Protanther is the leader, has a lot of influence, maybe like in terms of maybe his vote counts double, but it's not his final word and he can veto what the group wants. It is a group consensus, a majority consensus.
Okay.
And actually I said Nimur, that was Nimur, and actually in Otara Leocarnos actually was affected by the Bahamut too. So the only person who has not changed, like significantly changed their view, is Protanther.
Gold Dragon.
Yep. That being said, having
what if he he's the one that doesn't trust humans the most.
Yes, he does not actually. He very specifically doesn't like or care for humanoids, particularly humans and elves.
Yeah. Strong dislike. Yep.
I cover my half-elf ears. Do I think a sacrifice and a personal sacrifice would do anything to sway him?
No, not in the context of the current situation. What I was about to say, though, especially
I have a
since
dagger.
we're coming up on the top of the hour,
Yep.
no matter how much influence he has, you are relatively confident you have convinced all other 4 dragons to support you, to support the alliance. I mean, they are all friendly to your group at this point. So I'm just gonna kind of call it here and say that the discussions go on, right? Because rather than role playing, we're kind of going the back and forth, and this would be a natural end to the discussion happens. And I need you, Jenkin, to make a persuasion roll. Final persuasion roll.
With advantage.
Nope, there's no advantage.
But I want him to.
Roll. You're muted.
I'm going to toss this out there or flip this out there or whatever into my hand. I'm fiddling around, and I flick myself a little coin.
I totally
My
forgot
luck.
you had that coin.
It
By
can't hurt. Here's the thing. It really can't hurt.
Right, because it'll turn a 1 into a 10. So you're
Yeah.
either going to roll, you're either going to have a 26 or a crit 36.
36.
Yeah.
It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah. So I will just go ahead and roll it. It's the 26. Just for the hell of it. Just never know. So whatever.
Oh, wow. So, okay. So it's 26. All right. We will find out the results next week.
Ooh. Can I, no,
I like the cliffhanger. Well done.
So you have finished your final words. The dragons ask for some time to discuss themselves, and so you kind of go take some views off on the side, and they all walk to the other side of the plateau, and they're gonna be in a little powwow while you guys get to look out over the valley of the mountains. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you so much, everyone, for playing, gentlemen. That went very well. In terms of how you approached it. We'll see whether that was enough, and we'll pick it up next week. Thank you, everyone out there watching. And until next time, may your lives be filled with peace, joy, and love. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.